The courtroom was a vast, cold space, heavy with tension. The air itself seemed to hum with anticipation, as if the walls were holding their breath, waiting for the drama about to unfold. Every echo of footsteps on the polished floor rang out, amplifying the sense of isolation that filled the room. Marcus Johnson sat at the defendant's table, hands trembling, heart pounding. His breath came in shallow bursts, each inhale a struggle against the anxiety that threatened to overwhelm him. The weight of the moment pressed down on his shoulders, making him feel smaller than he'd ever felt before. Every whisper and rustle seemed to echo with accusation. The soft shuffling of papers, the quiet coughs, and the barely audible murmurs, all felt like judgments passed before the trial had even begun. It was as if the entire room was holding Marcus responsible, their eyes and voices weaving a tapestry of suspicion. He felt 100 eyes judging him before a word was spoken. The sensation of being watched was suffocating, as if the very air was thick with scrutiny. Even the silence seemed to press in, amplifying his sense of vulnerability. Beside him, Cooper, his German Shepherd mix, lay calm and steady. The dog's presence was a quiet counterpoint to the chaos swirling in Marcus's mind, a living reminder that he was not alone in this ordeal. Cooper's tail thumped softly, his eyes meeting Marcus's with silent reassurance. In those gentle brown eyes, Marcus found a wellspring of comfort, a silent promise that no matter what happened, Cooper would remain by his side. Marcus reached down, fingers finding comfort in Cooper's fur. The familiar texture beneath his hand was grounding, a small act of normalcy in a world that suddenly felt alien and hostile. The simple act grounded him, an anchor in a sea of fear. Each stroke of Cooper's fur was a reminder of home, of safety, of moments when life was simpler and hope was easier to find. The prosecutor painted Marcus as a menace, but the words felt distant. They echoed off the walls, but failed to penetrate the bubble of calm that Cooper provided. For a moment, Marcus could almost forget the accusations, the fear, and the uncertainty. In that moment, Marcus wasn't a defendant, just a boy with his dog. The world outside faded away, leaving only the bond between them, strong and unbreakable. The judge had allowed Cooper in as an emotional support animal, despite objections. It was a rare concession, one that spoke to the extraordinary circumstances of Marcus's case and the visible need for comfort in the face of overwhelming stress. Cooper sat as a silent testament to a bond the law couldn't comprehend. His quiet presence was more powerful than any argument, a living symbol of loyalty and love that defied the cold logic of the courtroom. He was more than a witness, he was a piece of Marcus's heart. Their connection was unspoken but undeniable, a lifeline in a place where hope was scarce. In a place where hearts were often broken, Cooper was Marcus's hope. The dog's steady breathing, his unwavering loyalty, gave Marcus the strength to face what was coming, even as uncertainty loomed. The trial was about to begin, and Marcus clung to the only truth he had. Cooper was with him. No matter what verdict the day would bring, Marcus knew that as long as Cooper was by his side, he could endure the storm that was about to break. Marcus Johnson was not a thief. He worked at the local library, lived simply, and loved two things: comic books and Cooper. He'd found Cooper as a puppy, abandoned and shivering, and from that day, they were inseparable. Their days were filled with walks, quiet evenings, and unspoken understanding. Cooper knew Marcus's moods, offering a toy or silent comfort as needed. For Marcus, Cooper was more than a pet. He was family, protector, and best friend. Cooper's loyalty was instinctual. He sensed unease in people before Marcus did. Marcus trusted Cooper's instincts, relying on his subtle warnings. This bond was Marcus's foundation, a world built on trust and love. When Marcus looked into Cooper's eyes, he saw his own goodness reflected back. The legal system couldn't touch this love. It was the strength that kept Marcus going in the cold, unforgiving courtroom. The crime was simple: a convenience store robbed, the owner pushed, cash stolen. The thief was a shadowy figure, face hidden by a hoodie. Marcus, out walking Cooper near the store, was seen by a neighbor just after the robbery. She didn't see a crime, only Marcus and his dog nearby. Under pressure, the police turned suspicion into accusation. Marcus was arrested, bewildered, his world shattered. He told the truth: he was walking his dog. Police searched his apartment, found nothing: no money, no weapon, no hoodie. But a witness placed him at the scene, and that was enough. Marcus was left with only Cooper as his alibi. He was just a young man in the wrong place at the wrong time. In a world demanding answers, that was enough to make him a suspect. The safe world of books and dog walks was gone. The legal system felt like a relentless machine, grinding Marcus down with every turn of its gears. Each day, the courthouse buzzed with tension, and Marcus felt smaller, more powerless, as he waited for his fate to be decided by strangers. His public defender, Mr. Davies, was drowning in paperwork and cases, his eyes heavy with fatigue and skepticism. He barely had time to listen, let alone believe. Davies urged Marcus to take a plea deal, insisting it was his best chance. But Marcus refused. He was innocent, and he couldn't admit to something he hadn't done, no matter how hopeless things seemed. "A dog can't testify in court," Davies scoffed, brushing off any mention of Cooper, Marcus's loyal companion, as if the dog's presence meant nothing. But to Marcus, Cooper was more than a pet. He was the only one who truly knew what happened that night, the only soul who believed in his innocence without question. The authorities saw Marcus as a textbook suspect, young, alone, and poor. He fit the profile, and that was enough for them to stop looking for the real truth. All they had was circumstantial evidence and a blurry video, but for them, that was enough to build a case. They didn't care about the gaps or the doubts. When Marcus tried to explain, his story was dismissed as a convenient lie, just another excuse from someone desperate to escape blame. The system wanted a culprit, and Marcus fit the narrative perfectly. Everyone doubted him. His lawyer, the police, even the jury. Everyone, that is, except Cooper. In those darkest moments, Cooper became more than just support. He was a living symbol of Marcus's innocence, a silent witness to the truth no one else wanted to hear. While the world judged and turned away, Cooper's loyalty never wavered. His faith in Marcus was absolute, unshaken by doubt or accusation. To Cooper, Marcus was good, and that was all that mattered. In those gentle eyes, Marcus found the strength to keep going. As the trial loomed, Marcus clung to that truth, holding on to Cooper as his anchor in a storm of uncertainty and fear. In a world built on doubt and suspicion, Cooper's faith in Marcus was unbreakable, a beacon of hope when everything else seemed lost. The trial was slow and agonizing. Every moment in the courtroom felt stretched, as if time itself was holding its breath. The air was thick with tension, and the eyes of everyone present seemed to weigh heavily on Marcus. The prosecutor laid out the case, blurry surveillance footage, a neighbor's uncertain testimony, and a web of suspicion woven into a narrative that seemed more like a story than fact. Each detail was presented with dramatic flair, as if to fill the gaps left by the lack of hard evidence. Each piece of evidence was weak alone, but together, they cast a shadow of doubt over Marcus. The files, the photographs, the legal documents, none of them told a complete story, but together, they painted a picture that was hard to ignore. Mr. Davies, the defense attorney, cross-examined each witness with precision, highlighting the lack of real proof. No stolen money, no fingerprints, no weapon ever found. He pressed the witnesses, exposing inconsistencies and gaps in their stories. The case was built on circumstance and suggestion, not on solid facts. It was a puzzle with too many missing pieces, and everyone in the room could feel the uncertainty. Marcus sat in silence, his hands trembling slightly, while Cooper, his loyal dog, rested quietly at his feet. The jury couldn't help but glance at the dog, their curiosity piqued by the unusual sight of an animal in the courtroom. Witnesses took the stand, each adding layers of doubt and confusion. Their memories were hazy, their accounts conflicting, and the truth seemed to slip further away with every word spoken. Mr. Henderson, the store owner, couldn't identify the robber. He remembered only a man in a hoodie with an angry voice echoing in his mind. His uncertainty left the courtroom unsettled. The description was so vague it could have fit half the city. Anyone could have been the suspect, and that ambiguity hung over the proceedings like a cloud. The case balanced on a knife's edge, teetering between doubt and belief. Every argument, every piece of evidence, seemed to tip the scales back and forth. Without clear evidence, it would all come down to what the jury believed in their hearts. Their faces revealed the weight of responsibility, each juror silently wrestling with uncertainty. Marcus felt powerless, a pawn in a game he didn't understand. The rules seemed to change with every testimony, and all he could do was hope for justice. Through it all, Cooper remained his steady companion, offering silent comfort with every nuzzle and gentle glance. In a world of uncertainty, the dog's loyalty was the only thing Marcus could count on. The truth was buried beneath layers of suspicion, waiting to be uncovered. As the trial continued, everyone wondered if it would ever come to light. Cooper was a quiet observer, focused only on Marcus. One afternoon, Derek Miller took the stand, claiming to see someone like Marcus running from the scene. As Derek entered, Cooper's demeanor changed, ears perked, body tense. Marcus noticed immediately. Cooper was on high alert. Derek nervously described a figure in a hoodie, avoiding Marcus's gaze, but Marcus watched Cooper, not Derek. A low growl rumbled from Cooper's chest, his eyes locked on Derek. Marcus tried to soothe him, but Cooper's calm was gone. The dog's instincts were triggered. He knew something. Cooper was no longer just a comfort, he was a guardian. In a room of rules and doubt, Cooper was about to make his testimony known. The unseen witness was ready to speak in the only way he could. The tension in the courtroom was about to break. As Derek spoke, Cooper's growl grew louder, cutting through the courtroom. The judge demanded control, but Cooper wouldn't settle. He stood, body rigid, eyes fixed on Derek. Suddenly, Cooper barked, a sharp accusing sound that echoed through the room. The jury jumped, the prosecutor froze, and Derek paled. Cooper barked again, pulling at his leash, pointing at Derek. The courtroom erupted in confusion. Derek's composure shattered. He stared at Cooper in terror. The dog's reaction was more powerful than any argument. Marcus shouted, "He knows him! Cooper knows him!" All eyes turned to Derek, who was sweating and shaking. The judge called for order, but the truth was out. Cooper's instinct had exposed a lie. The dog had done what hours of legal argument could not. The room was no longer focused on Marcus. The real story was about to unfold. Amidst the uproar, the truth began to surface. The prosecutor saw Derek's panic and hesitated. Mr. Davies seized the moment, insisting Cooper recognize Derek from the night of the robbery. The judge, intrigued, called a recess. Behind closed doors, the detective recalled Derek's criminal record. Suspicion shifted. Derek was now the focus. When court resumed, Derek crumbled under pressure and Cooper's unwavering stare. The prosecutor pressed him. Why was he so afraid of the dog? Derek contradicted himself, then broke down. "It was me!" he confessed, sobbing. He described robbing the store and nearly colliding with Marcus and Cooper as he fled. Cooper had barked at him that night just as he did now. Seeing Cooper again brought the terror back, and Derek couldn't keep lying. The truth, unleashed by a dog's bark, set Marcus free. Derek's confession ended the ordeal. The judge dismissed all charges against Marcus. Relief washed over him as he heard, "You are free to go." Marcus dropped to his knees, hugging Cooper, tears streaming down his face. Cooper responded with happy yelps and a wagging tail. The courtroom watched, some smiling, others wiping away tears. Mr. Davies looked on with admiration. He'd witnessed a miracle. News spread quickly. Cooper, the dog who barked the truth, was a hero. Reporters swarmed them, but Cooper cared only for his boy. The story was more than a solved crime, it was about unbreakable loyalty. Heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they have 4 paws and a heart full of love. Cooper had saved Marcus and restored faith in truth. Sometimes, justice comes in the form of a bark.